Hello, everybody. This is Joe, and you're watching Bringing the Truth. And I thought today it'd be a little bit spicy. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, this isn't going to be... It is calling out. It's like I'm back to my old call out videos. I thought about it for a while. I wasn't going to do call out videos. I wasn't going to I wasn't going to go after Sam Shamoun or David Wood, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm going after their teacher, right? However, it's some recent stuff that I seen them doing that I feel I have the okay and their blessing from. So that's the easiest way to put it. And so it's not going to be a whole lot of talking. I'm going to try and keep this 10-15 minutes tops. And let's see how much we can watch. I set it up in such a way where it tells its own story.
Some people say that you are unable to love or receive love, so therefore you can't really be a Christian.
I've actually heard from Christians over the years who've seen me give my testimony say, you're not really saved. You're not really a Christian.
David Wood, who's a known diagnosed psychopath.
Bashing my dad's head in with a hammer.
It wasn't until years later, after I had gone through mental hospitals and jails and prisons.
And they diagnosed me with, it said antisocial personality disorder. The definition of a psychopath and sociopath, and it said someone with antisocial personality disorder.
And so as far as right and wrong are concerned, I concluded that the best thing we can do is just whatever you feel like doing at any given time. And so I attacked my dad with a hammer. I left him for dead. I was put in a psychiatric hospital where they put me through a series of tests and concluded that I'm a sociopath. People who have this generally...
If you haven't noticed, there's a theme here, and that's David is constantly talking about his psychopathy, or like Naomi says it. I don't remember how she said it. But David happens to bring it up all the time, in every conversation, in every way, and him going to prison, right? That's not the main reason I brought this up. I just wanted to point that out.
Don't respect the rights of other people, don't have any respect for the rights of other people or their feelings, things like that. Like, I had been courteous all my life in certain situations towards people's property or towards people, and that I'd finally realized that I don't have to do what people say. I don't have to do these kinds of things.
You and Dave.
And there's a video I wanted to make where it's going to have to do with David's testimony, where he comes to a realization that he just said right there, that he doesn't have to listen or follow the regular people's rules. It's that day and that day forward that he becomes the psychopath that he is. It was I believe in my opinion, it's a choice that he chooses, and I can't say too much because I want to save it for a different video. So yes, there will be more videos about David. There will be more videos about Sam.
I don't have to do these kinds of things.
You and David Wood would have no hope of salvation. And Anthony, forget about it. He'd have to spend 1,000,000 years in purgatory.
Traumatized by seeing me naked. Like a faggot, but you see, he said, I'm a motherfucker. Is he saying that I fucked his mother? Because that's what a motherfucker does, right? See his language?
You know, I had a very foul mouth before, and I just say MFer. He doesn't have to say everything. He doesn't have to do everything that I say or act the way I say, but there's a point to this. And if you notice, they call each other's behaviors out, and they don't necessarily say it's not Christian-like behavior. I couldn't find clips. There's clips of David saying it, but I'd have to sit through a whole bunch of stuff to find that clip again. I don't know if Sam ever uses that. That's not Christian behavior or not, so I couldn't add that in there. But they're telling on each other, right? Each other's behaviors.
I'll stoop to your level.
Right.
So whoever complained, let me say, you're a pig, you're an animal, you're a beast, you're a dirty dog, and you're good for nothing to be destroyed and sent to hell. They're going to get insulted. I'm going to cuss them out, right? And humiliate them and their mother. God didn't make me an Assyrian Jew for nothing.
Filthy, wicked ortho bros. You guys, you are a cancer, dude. May God cut you off.
And they don't know me very well. They think I'm a nice guy like James White, my brother. No, I'll stoop to your level. I'll get in the mud and bury you in your mud. Emily, what I think is a serious discussion is that you're a filthy prostitute of Satan.
May God cut you off.
I'm just as dirty as you filthy slime and prostitutes of the devil.
Forgive
I
the
think what sin
volume.
is that your mother gave birth
I
to
know
a
it's
filthy
should be
dog
kind of
who's
loud.
no life like you. She should be thrown in jail for giving birth to a dog, a filthy scum dog like you.
May God cut you off.
She does.
Cover-up culture is where you conceal the stuff.
Okay, so I did all of that beginning, first of David Wood and then Sam Shamoun, right? To show them at their, you could say at their worst, and kind of see how, you know, they're going after each other. This was in the past. I want y'all to know this is in the past. And then I remember I got a comment with somebody saying once, why isn't this kind of old? Yes, but I'm making content that is relevant on their behavior, because even up until now, I don't believe they've reconciled. I saw a video or something that says that they squashed it, but I just saw a video where Sam was calling out David again, and like I said, I saw some things that I believe they would give me their blessing to do these videos about. So I assume it's not over.
She does.
Cover-up culture is where you conceal the stuff, and some religious leader is so important that everyone covers up all the messed up stuff that he's doing because they don't want their leader exposed and so on.
And that's David's definition of cover-up culture. But if you read it, it's a systematic, often organizational practice where wrongdoing, errors, or ethical breaches are intentionally concealed rather than addressed, driven by a desire to protect reputations or avoid accountability. And it made it to where the definition doesn't apply to David because he's not an authority figure or a religious figure that's popular that everyone's trying to keep from being exposed. No, cover-up culture is you're trying to hide stuff, and I believe he hid everything that Sam, because he said him and his wife knew. His wife and Sam's wife would text all the time and talk all the time. They've known each other for years. David has held on to this information. It's not like Sam gave it to him. And when Sam crossed him, David let all the information out. So he's been holding on to this for a long time and never spoke out about it.
I am not quick to condemn. Wasn't quick to condemn Sam. Yeah, but she was also accusing. She was accusing us of cover-up culture. You guys haven't heard. You guys haven't heard me say much over the years. You've heard me say practically nothing. Attitude you have. You gotta. You can't let this be known. You can't let this be exposed because then it would be embarrassing. That is why you had this. You had these decades of sexual abuse of children in like the Catholic Church. You had priests, right? I'm good.
That right there is David. He was reading a comment, I believe, and somebody was like asking him why is he speaking out against Sam or something like that, right? So he's explaining that he's not going to be a part of this, and he's gonna tell all. But this is
in like the Catholic Church. You had priests, right? I'm gonna think about things for a long time.
How long did he know?
That is why you had this. You had these decades of sexual abuse of children in like the Catholic Church. Relationship up to 2015. Okay, so 2007, Michelle, who was an atheist at the time, I believe, someone invited her to go to Sam.
Okay, it's about to get a little bit graphic, and I believe the only reason David admitted to what he did with the underage girls was because I believe he was probably being threatened by Sam to expose it. He got ahead of Sam, and then Sam was left with nothing to say. He had nothing to go after David with, and David attacked him because he knew Sam was about to disclose that. So I think that's why David came out and goes, I don't care. But he never said it before this until he got into it with Sam.
Invited her to go to Sam's Bible studies. He actually persuades her to convert to Christianity. He persuades her to convert to Christianity. That's in 2007. They began dating in early 2008. So they started dating, guys. Here's the description.
And I know I saw a video where he's talking about him and his wife and Sam's wife going back and forth about this. And that's how he knows what happened and what was going on and knew behind the scenes stuff. And that's what's crazy. It's barely coming out now. Since 2007, 2008. Well, they dated in 2008, right? Yeah.
Dating, guys. Here's the description. One day, he asked Michelle to tell him how many men she had been with. She shared her past with the thought that she was confessing to her spiritual mentor. In other words, this is the guy who led her to Christ.
That's why as Catholics, you got to keep that stuff to yourself. You shouldn't have to confess it to anybody but God or Christ, you know, or God.
Mentor. In other words, this is the guy who led her to Christ. And so she shares her past with him. So she shared her past with the thought that she was confessing to her spiritual mentor. He was outraged at the thought that she had been with these other men and demanded she have sex with him, saying in these words, "If you don't have sex with me right now, then get out of my house." Michelle began crying on the bed and said, "I'm changed now. I don't want to have sex until I get married." Sam walked over to the bed, pulled down Michelle's pants while she was crying, and had sex with her while she was lying there passively and crying. You've heard me say practically nothing. Nothing. AP, I want to know if you reacted to that the same way my wife did when she heard it. What do you call that? Before we see how Sam is right now.
And if anybody can talk to him, they should have asked him, when did your wife hear about it? When did she react that way? How long ago?
Before we see how Sam is right now. If any friends and family were involved, he would belittle any friends and family. Again, this was written 10 years ago. I can verify a bunch of this.
He can verify this. It was written 10 years ago. He can verify something 10 years ago. Why didn't you speak up, David? You're not a part of cover-up culture. Were you thinking that long? Has it been that long that you had to think, I'm not going to condemn him right away. I need 10 years to think about whether I'm going to speak on it or not. Oh, he just crossed me, so I'm going to speak on it. You know, that's all that happened.
Written 10 years ago. I can verify a bunch of this. If any friends and family were involved, he would belittle and demonize Michelle. If these intervening pastors, friends, and counselors training...
And not by any means am I dismissing Sam's behavior. It just should have been called out sooner.
Pastors, friends, and counselors tried to correct Sam about his behavior and treatment of Michelle, Sam would chase them out of the house. The only people he allowed in a discussion were those who agreed with him that Michelle was unsaved and being used by Satan, and the verbal abuse began to get worse. Sam would call Michelle whore. This is before they're married. The verbal abuse began to get worse. Sam would call Michelle whore and daughter of Satan. Does that sound like something Sam would do? Calling horrible names, horribly hurtful names?
The reason another reason I made this video was because when some of the comments I got questioned why I made this content, and when I point out that Sam and David aren't behaving like Christians, and I questioned whether Sam was a Christian, I questioned whether David is a Christian, I questioned these things about them, and yet all these questions that I have and things that I thought about are also being displayed by each other about each other, right? So you may not take my word for it. So I made, these clips so you could see other videos that I made, what the stuff that I not accuse, but I would say bring to y'all's attention about their behaviors. And here it is, right? It's all laid out.
Does that sound like something Sam would do? Calling horrible names, horribly hurtful names? Hey, look, it says right here, whore of Babylon, so I could call your mother a whore.
That's one of the things I called out too, was David will do it. David will say, in fact, I might have put it in the clip where David talks about Jesus mocked, so we can mock. And it's like the logic of it. Well, Jesus healed. Does that mean we can heal? Jesus ascended. Does that mean we can ascend? And Sam, he definitely takes the scripture and says, you see, it says whore. And so that means I can say whore. I can call you whore. I can call your mother a whore. However, in the context, the word whore being used isn't to be derogatory towards somebody.
Hey, look, it says right here, whore of Babylon, so I could call your mother a whore. Through this, Michelle tried to leave him and break up. She eventually realized, maybe I shouldn't be with this guy. Through this, Michelle tried to leave him and break up. One of those times was May 25th, 2008.
It was about them using scripture to justify their behaviors and whatever they're trying to teach.
Break up. She eventually realized, this is toxic. Maybe I shouldn't be with this guy. Through this, Michelle tried to leave him and break up. One of those times was May 25th, 2008. She had already broken it off, but he kept pestering her with phone calls. Finally, Michelle gave in because he persuaded her that God wanted them to be together. You see this? You see what he does?
And you can see the manipulation that Sam uses, even with, you know, some of his callers. But I like that Sam preaches the gospel. I like that he goes and attacks Islam. I think he would be another Billy Graham or Ravi Zacharias, maybe. You know, we're all failed men. We all have vices, and we all have fallen short of the glory of God, right? So I'm not trying to beat on Sam.
Michelle gave in because he persuaded her that God wanted them to be together and that Satan was speaking through her family and friends to prevent this. Her family and friends were saying, you need to get away from this guy. This guy is toxic. Get away from him. What does he do? He convinces her that Satan was speaking through her family and friends to prevent their marriage. This is someone who uses the Bible as a weapon and as a justification for him behaving terribly. I can verify a bunch of this.
And you have to understand that David knew all of this stuff already. This isn't brand new stuff, right? It isn't brand new behavior. He knows how Sam is. They've known each other for years. And guess what? Birds of a feather, they flock together. They're very similar, except for one probably seems angrier than the other. But who even knows how they originally met, right? Who I don't care. I'm not saying because of their past. I'm saying because of their now, because of their behavior now, their attitudes now. And yes, David now, Sam now, yes. This is a past video. It was easier to find stuff in the past than it is in the present, right? Because I have to search through a whole bunch more stuff. But yes, it's behavior that needs to be corrected by them, and hopefully they do, because they're doing a poor job of representing us. And I'm saying I reject them. I reject them as Christians. I reject them as representatives of us. But that's about as far as I see it right now. And I'll pray for them, and I'll pray for you guys, whoever watches this video. If you made it to the end, I thank you. I had actually fun making this one. There's so much more stuff I wanted to say, but I got to learn how to manage what goes in what video and break it off and make another video off of something else. So anyways, nobody watches the other videos if it's not about drama. So I'm not going to only make drama. I hope people stick around. Have a good day. Until next time, signing out.